Hello, this is Alex with Grow How. This is one of my red currant bushes. The scientific name on that would be Ribes rubrum. This has gotten a lot of attention over the last few years as being something new, something exotic, something. And that just amazes me because my mom would find these off the side of the road. She won't tell me where, so I kind of suspect they're on somebody's private property, and she knew it. And she would harvest these and make red currant jam out of them. This is not new. This was introduced shortly after the North America was settled, particularly up in the northern regions, Massachusetts area, whatnot. These things were over here almost as soon as colonies existed. And they're also related to our native gooseberries and our native currants, which I've got a couple of those which got planted this year. I'll show those next year probably, or at least in the future. But today it's all about this red currant, and it's not exotic, it's not new, this is old school stuff. This is, again, what a lot of us grew up with. In the early 1900s, the federal government outlawed it because it can transmit pine blister rust, which affects the pine crops that we use for wood. And then in the 60s they relented and said, we'll let the states decide what they need to do. And since then, the currants have really struggled to make a comeback. People just don't know about them. And the great thing about the currant is, even though you may not have used it before, it's got all the same uses that a normal berry has. You can make pies out of it. You can make jams, jellies, syrup. You can use this like cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving. You can make a currant jam, which is really all cranberry sauce is, or currant jelly, and you can use that in place of cranberries. You can use it again as a sauce with meats like lamb, even pork. Probably do it with beef. You can make juice out of it. You can dry them. You can use them for baking. Pretty well anything that you can do with any other berry, you can do with these. And so you don't even really need to figure out how to use one to get a couple of bushes. They're available easily online or hopefully from your local nursery. I know when I worked for a nursery, I struggled to find a dealer who would get these in the quantities I needed. But these are just a great shrub. The requirements are even watering. They're going to need a little bit more nitrogen than most of my other plants. You'll notice that there's some yellow on the leaves here. Some of that looks like a nitrogen deficiency. I'll get that in another video though. But this is just a workhorse shrub. Now, the other thing you're going to need to do also is these do not take the heat and sunlight as well as some other plants. I've got them planted on the eastern side of my house. As is, I think they're getting about 8 hours of sun. So you will need to plant them where they're a little bit more protected that way, but most houses in the northern part of the US have got enough shade to handle it. If you've got a treed area or an area that's kind of shadier but you want some shrubs, these are going to handle it, and they're going to handle it fairly nicely. So a little bit more nitrogen, even watering, which is normal for most plants, and some shade. Just about everyone who's got a house can fit these in there. And I encourage you to look at using them. It's a great early harvest. My blackberries aren't on yet. My apricots aren't on yet. The cherries have passed, although my cherry shrub did not produce this year. So these are going to be one of the earlier fruits you can get, and it's not going to take a lot of intensive heat in the house to do anything with them. I don't think between this and my second bush that I've got enough to actually do anything with. But I'm picking them today. I probably waited a couple days too late. That's okay. I'm going to have some very sweet fruit because they're really at the peak of ripeness. A few of them are overripe. That's not a problem. These are thornless, so you don't have to worry about that. Families, dogs, whatnot. Go ahead, check into it. If you have any questions, use the comments below. And if if you've got any stories to share, again, use the comments. If you're enjoying this video, if it's productive, let me know by subscribing. The more subscribers I get, the more I know I'm meeting people's needs. And then keep an eye out, probably not this year, but in subsequent years, I'll be throwing in recipes and other plants that are related to this. I've got a gooseberry over there. I've got some native currants that I can't wait to show you. And in the meantime, enjoy yourself. Subscribe below. And Manana. Oh, one last thing. I should at least eat a couple of these. Oh. Oh, that's got a nice tartness to it. It's not vicious. It's strong. Really nice. Really nice. Thanks a lot, Manana.